gentlemen, Ned's quarterback at you. As you know, they took down the Nelson Mandela mural last week, so they're having like a little rally because of the Cruz Construction took down this mural. As you can see, this is where it used to be over here. So we're gonna give you guys a took that down completely now. So now we're gonna, see what's going on here.
Are you attending the demo today? Yeah. Awesome. Do I have to come in here or something, or is it just? No, you can go ahead and go to that. Like on the community artist. Testing.
Oh, that's my version. Watch your shit, baby.
We don't need to turn that on.
Okay. Oh, there's I got we got all right.
Okay, everyone, so we're making a little more room here so people can see and hear from all the speakers. Hopefully, especially people on the sides, if you want to come in a little closer. I know we're still observing, social distancing. We also have some water up here in a cooler. Feel free to take as many as you want. It's really hot out today, so we need y'all to stay hydrated. And then, anyone from the back sides, I know it kind of closes off on the sidewalk, so feel free to come a bit closer. You can try to fill in this front area a little bit. A little more. That way people who get here after can also see. Thank you. We'll be starting in a few minutes.
Right around the time Third Base dropped the Cactus album, but I was reading Malcolm. I changed my name in '89, cleaned the parts of my brain like a baby 9. I took a history class serious, front row every day of the week. Third period, fucking with the teacher's head, calling them racist. I try to show them crackers some light, they couldn't face it. I got my diploma from a school called Rivers full of teenage mothers and drug dealing niggas in the hallways. The popo was always present, searching through niggas' possessions, looking for dope and weapons. Get your lessons. That's what my mom's kept stressing. I tried to pay attention, but their classes weren't interesting. They seem to only glorify the Europeans, claiming Africans with only 3/5 of human beings. They schools can't teach us shit. My people need freedom. We're trying to get all we could get. All my high school teachers could suck my dick, telling me white man lies, straight bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Job, you know what I'm saying? But they don't never tell you how the job go and exploit you every time. You know what I'm saying? That's why I be like, fuck these schools. School is like a 12-step brainwash camp. They make you think if you drop out, you ain't got a chance to advance in life. They try to make you pull your pants up. Students fight the teachers.
Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for showing up again. Can we get a round of applause for everyone who's showing up here today? Okay, so we're gonna start off with a few chants just to get the energy up. I know, it's a really hot day. It might be one of the hottest days of summer, but that's just how it's gonna be, and I really appreciate that y'all are out here today. So, when black arts are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black arts are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the people's rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the people's rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
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 When black arts are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Woo! Everyone, give yourself a round of applause. Okay, so I know by now all of you must have heard, especially if you're out here, but maybe for the people who are standing around, who are not quite as sure why there's a big group right here, is that we're standing right in front of the area where the Roxbury Mandela mural was. It was right over here, and it's been up here since 2014. I know for a lot of y'all out here today, and from a lot of people we'll be hearing later, this mural meant a lot to so many of you, but beyond just the residents, we know that this was a symbol of the people, right? Because one of the main artists, he wrote a statement, wrote about why he did his work. He didn't do it for himself. He didn't do this mural for himself. He did it for the people. The people who live here, the people who've been here, for decades, people who have immigrated here. This neighborhood is filled with people from all over the world who speak all different kinds of languages, and this mural honored all of that. And so when this mural came down less than a week ago, myself and my good friend Rachel, we were honestly outraged. We were outraged just like so many of you today, because how can it be that a city that can't even provide its residents, cancellation of rents, it can't provide them free health care, it can't do any of that, but it can make time to make sure this mural gets demolished, right? That's absolutely bullshit. We cannot have that. So we need to make sure the people know that this is not okay. This is not okay. Having more, unaffordable housing is not okay. We need people to make their voices heard, right? Because they're telling us, we didn't show up to the meetings. I know a lot of y'all were at those meetings, because I remember some of y'all. We were at those meetings, okay? That ain't it. We need to build community power, right? They need to hear us, because we're out here. We outnumber them, but we're not out organizing them yet. So I'm really glad y'all are here today, and I'm really glad we have a dope lineup of speakers that are going to talk not just about arts and culture in Boston, because honestly there's so much to celebrate. We have so many talented artists and people here, and the city is not investing in it. We all need to be invested in it and stand up when stuff like this happens, right? But then the other side is that we're also looking at how the city is changing, and we need to make sure that it changes and grows for us. Right? For us. Yeah. The ones who are here. Yes. Right. Come on. Yeah. Word. So, that being said, I'm really honored to introduce Qazi, who's coming here from the Jericho movement, who is a, former political prisoner himself, who has been doing organizing in Boston for decades. And I think one really, symbolic part about this mural was that it was commemorating Nelson Mandela, who is a, freedom fighter who fought against apartheid in South Africa. And I think there's a lot of parallels we can draw to these struggles today here in Roxbury, right? Even the Mandela movement. But we have this Mandela mural that was, for the people, just like Mandela. And Qazi's going to tell you why. And he is also for the people. So please give me a big round of applause for Qazi.
How you doing? Good to see you. Even with the map. All power to the people. And, thank y'all for inviting me here to say a few words about this travesty. I don't understand how it happened. I understand, the cultural disconnect and the educational disconnect between, the generations and whatnot, and people not getting the history, and that's the failure of our school systems, because you don't get to learn what happened just 10 years before, or 20 years before. You don't get that history, and it's an indictment on our education system, man. Maybe y'all can make it better, But anyway, that's what this struggle's about, right? Making it better, taking it higher, making this world a better place for everybody to live in, right? Because the people that's been running it, they've been on, just sucking the life's blood out of all of us, for their own profits and benefits. Watch your back, man. Anyways, I started working around the apartheid issues of apartheid around 1972. And by 1976, what was happening, I don't know how many people here know about Soweto, the Soweto uprising? What happened? Okay. So in 1976, by that time, the students in South Africa, they refused to speak the Dutch language, and they were trying to further colonize them students right in South Africa to speak Afrikaner language. The students refused, man. They was like, no, we ain't doing it. And so they had a demonstration on the 16th of June in 1976, and there was about 3,000 kids that day shot and killed by the police. About 10,000 turned out for the demo, and it was a peaceful demonstration. But you know how the pigs are. They were riding up with their guns and their big trucks and their machine guns and whatnot, and they shot down. The first kid that died was Hector Patterson. He was 9 years old. And the kids went back that day, and they told their parents, they said, if you go to work for them people tomorrow, we will attack you. You don't got to worry about them. You ain't working for them no more. So for the whole next year that went on, the youth led that movement, man. They picked it up. And there was people like Steve Biko, who was an educator there. The police, he was a teacher. And they broke every bone in Biko's body, man. They arrested him, tortured him, and broke every bone in his body. And then I'll say, like, the man here, I don't know if many of you know who Mel King is. Mel King was running for mayor back then. Around 76, he introduced a bill here in Massachusetts that made it illegal for anybody to do any business with South Africa, with the South African government. There was a real strong, this place, Boston, was a real strong anti-apartheid movement, and led it in divestments across the country. That's why it's really a shame that this thing came down. Nelson, this was the first place he came after he got freed up. He came to Boston, man, because it was so strong here supporting him over there. And we understood the links, that made it an international struggle, that the same people that were pressing him over there and the people in South Africa are pressing us, IBM, Honeywell, Kodak, all the multinational corporations that was bleeding the people over there. So Nelson understood it. He came here, and there was a move here to have this be called Mandela City. You know, and the fact that this came down, man, is really a shame. You know, I don't know what to say about it. Anyways, it was we did in '79. We organized 78, 79. We organized concerts. We had it in Harvard Stadium. It was called the Mandala, and it was for South Africa. For the proceeds went to the South African Liberation Movement, and we raised, I don't know, maybe $10,000, $15,000. It wasn't a lot, but you know, it was just a thought contribution, the awareness, the education that went on in the city around South Africa, making the ties up between the prison system and those people here that was locked up, and the political prisoners here, just like Nelson Mandela. And I was charged with the same thing. I was charged and convicted with seditious conspiracy, conspiring to overthrow the government here, just like Nelson was over there. And there's a lot of people here still locked up today for fighting against the same racist police attacks and the same racism in this system and sexism. You know, there's people still locked up today, political prisoners in this country. Matulu Shakur, Herman's out, but Matulu, Jalil, Sundiata, Asada's co-defendant is still locked up. A lot of people didn't even know she had a co-defendant. So yeah, the brother's still locked up. He's 83 years old. They think he might have had COVID, but they're not letting any of the political prisoners out. And you know you can't social distance in prison. So you see what's going on here in Massachusetts. It's going on across the country, but we just got to pick up the fight, yo, to get people out. And it's good to see all y'all out here, man. And I hope you keep it up. And we keep building, and we keep building, and we keep building to tear this shit down. All right? All power to the people, man. Carry on.
Let's give another big applause for Qazi, okay? We need to listen to our elders, right? We cannot leave them behind. None of them. Mumia, Sandiata, all these, Jalil, okay? What's the call? Free them all. 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 Okay, thank you. So next up, we're gonna hear a little bit more about, what's happening here in Roxbury, right? Because the uprisings that are happening, in Portland, we're in solidarity with the people in Portland right now, in Chicago, and all these different cities and towns across the country, and also internationally. But we are also, in the streets here in Boston. Yesterday, we had a really incredible event, people coming together for the Boston Unity March. So I want y'all to hear a little bit more from one of the main organizers about that, amazing event that brought together, thank you, woo, let's go. So I want to bring up Ernst, if you're out here in the crowd, see where you are, I know you're over here. If you want to say a few words. Oh, he's got a bike. Okay, let's give him a big round of applause, y'all.
So I operate off of energy, so we're gonna pretend that I'm walking up again. So let's try this again. Give it up for Shimmy, y'all. Alright, so first, I definitely need to extend a big thank you to Party for Socialism and Liberation. No, louder, please, louder. And also Dorchester Art Project definitely came into the clutch yesterday for the Uni March, so make some noise for them. Again, I just came up here and shouted out two organizations that I'm not part of, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, if we want to make real change, we need to work together, okay? So let's make some noise for that. Alright, so this is not about me, so I'm going to make my speech really brief. Again, I want to thank everybody who came out yesterday. Yesterday we had a cause, we had a reason why we were marching, but overall it was a blessing to see 14 different organizations come together on one unified front for one unified reason. And it was also very good to see people from the community connect with them and figure out what they can do moving forward to support everybody's endeavors, because again, like OG said before, we've got to work together. So make some noise for that, please. Alright, so before I go out, I just want to tell you what the Freedom Fighter Coalition is, because you probably look at me like, what the hell is that? I've never heard of it. We literally just started yesterday. So yesterday that Unity March was our first event, so make some noise for that. Okay, so basically, the Freedom Fighters Coalition is a community social action organization. His goal is to unite and mobilize as many people as possible who are passionate about making change both in our city and the entire country as well as the entire world. So make some noise for that. This is our goal. This is our goal for the Freedom Fighter Coalition. Obviously we just started, but we're trying to be around for a long time. So this is what we're trying to do. The Freedom Fighters Coalition is a coalition of social action organizations in Massachusetts, unified under a mutual list of demands. Each organization is unique and individual. However, we fight together for the betterment of vulnerable communities. The coalition has no leaders, and every organization involved has an equal say on any amendments to the list of demands, as well as the recruitment of other social action organizations in future events held by the coalition. The goal of this is official unity in hopes of mobilizing the most people, to organize the most people as possible from across the state. One mission is easier to accomplish than 100. Together we can make change, unified and united as a single front. We are unstoppable. I got a question for anybody who didn't make the march yesterday. Can I read our demands that we're going to continue to move forward with? Yeah. Can I take this down? It's hard for me to like talk, breathe, and... Sorry guys, let me pull this up. Alright, so here are the demands. We march for the justice of all the victims of police brutality, including George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, and we demand justice for the victims of police brutality in Boston and the greater Boston area. Make some noise? Yeah. That's really important. Number 2, we march for all the cases of police brutality be reopened and the officers involved be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and demand that the cases of Usama Rahim, Terrence Coleman, Bo Ramsey White, Dennis Yanoso, Santos LaBoy, and all victims of police brutality and murder, and that all officers involved are indicted, tried by an independent prosecutor, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Number 3, we march for the defunding, demilitarization, disarmament, and disbandment of the police, and we demand the immediate disbandment of all police departments in the greater Boston area, followed by the rest of Massachusetts, and that they are led and replaced with community-led public safety systems. I appreciate everybody. We just got a few more. We demand that all school resource officers are removed from schools and replaced with social workers and mental health counselors. We march and demand for the abolition of ICE, and demand that all cities and towns of Massachusetts end all cooperation with ICE and protects the rights and privacy of all undocumented people, including driver's license, regardless of status. And just to talk on that, I don't know if you guys are aware of a group called Qazi. Yeah, they're currently sleeping out in front of the State House. Are they on day 12?
11.
11? Either in this heat, that's a lot of days. But they're simply sleeping out there so they can have licenses. And that's something that me personally, I take for granted. And when I figured out what was going on with them yesterday, I went back today, I brought them water, we brought them food from the Freedom Fighter Coalition. I'm not saying that because I want praise. I'm saying that there's people out there that need our support, so we should help them any way, shape, or form. Alright, one more time. I'm sorry, guys. We demand that the